Joe Abercrombie, you absolute bitch. How could you have done that to us? It was absolutely crazy. What is up, dudes? My name's Jamie, this is Rooftop Readings. Today I'm going to be talking about The Wisdom of Crowds. It's the final book in the Age of Madness trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. The endings really pissed me off, I'm going to be honest. Was pretty annoyed by it, but I still think it's worth your time. So I'm going to go through the top 3 things that I think make it worth reading. So first, a little word on the ending. No, I'm going to get back to the ending. I've just started sneezing really badly. It's this corner of the house. I don't know what is up with it, but just sneezing like crazy. If you have theories, chuck them in the comments. So distracting. Alright, so first thing is, if you like adventure novels, Joe Abercrombie is absolute king. He does his action scenes perfectly. They're so good. I love watching his characters beat the hell out of his other characters. It is so much fun. And his writing is super crisp, but that's actually like the second thing that I'm going to get to. So I'll firstly say, if you're after an adventure novel, then Joe Abercrombie will just give you that fix. He's fairly straightforward. They're not like complicated plots. They're just fun. They're just good. You're not going to be confused. Like some novels are kind of the adventure equivalent of War and Peace. You just get so tangled up. You don't know what's going on. I'm reading Malazan's Gardens of the Moon at the moment, or Garden of the Moon. Super confused and don't know like who I'm rooting for. That's not the case with Joe Abercrombie. You do know who you're rooting for at different points in the novel. Not that they'll necessarily win, but at least you know what you want, which is really actually heaps of fun in a novel when you know what you want from the novel, and Joe Abercrombie nails it. The drawback to the adventure arc is that he sometimes intentionally frustrates you at the end of the novel. I just finished the Age of Madness trilogy and I thought, Joe Abercrombie, you absolute bitch. How could you have done that to us? It was absolutely crazy. And it was a good ending. I can't hate the ending. I can't tell you that Joe Abercrombie's a bad writer because he pissed me off. But you won't necessarily go home thinking, oh yeah, this was so much fun. I'm just like all butterflies and rainbows at the end of this. No, they're pretty hard hitting. They're pretty willing to frustrate you. He has that shard of ice in his heart. He's willing to kill his characters, willing to do nasty things to the people that he creates. But you love the people that he creates, so it's kind of worth it. Having said that, I am obviously a massive Joe Abercrombie fan. I've read every single one of his books, and a bunch of them I own both the audiobook and the physical book too. So, like, it's sitting back here, like for a nice shot, and I've just been leaning over it the whole time. For The Wisdom of Crowds, listen to it on audiobook. Stephen Pacey's reading is absolutely dope. And then my brother-in-law and sister gave it to me for my birthday earlier this year. Do you want the book or do you want the leopard that I drew onto my bookshelf? Leopard. I read The Heroes earlier in the year. I listened to it on audiobook and I enjoyed it so much that I just was like, gonna binge every single book that he's ever written. Read them all. So I'm a massive Joe Abercrombie fan, really love his work, but man, he's happy to piss you off with the endings to his books. So yeah, it's a book you buy for the journey. You read it for the journey and then you kind of come back to it because you just wish that it didn't end the way it did. There's a massive level of technical proficiency in his endings, so no hatred to them. Just also really frustrating. So the second thing that I really love in Joe Abercrombie's books is his writing. It's super crisp. You can kind of tell that he has a psychology degree because he's describing his character's emotions so well. It's fantastic. And it's always so clean. He's to the point. He's not super elaborate, but by the time you finish a paragraph, you think, whoa, that was impactful. And you nailed it on that paragraph. And just as a sentence by sentence level, I love his books. So huge props to him for that. So if you like well-written books and you kind of also like adventure, then he's definitely one of the fantasy authors that you'll be wanting to read. He's just fantastic the way he writes. Really respect his writing style. I kind of think of it as a violent version of Fleabag. Like the sort of nihilism that you get, the cynicism, and what's the phrase that someone used? They said it's like a vilification of the world in the character's viewpoint, like they hate everything in the world. You'll get that in Joe Abercrombie. It's also kind of funny, and then you'll get massive outbursts of action and kind of explicit violence. So if you like Fleabag, but you also like fantasy books, then you will love Joe Abercrombie. I'd recommend you start with The Blade itself. That's just like chronologically the place to start. But really anywhere is still good. Lastly, the characters are fantastic. All the characters kind of have self-contradictions that are really wonderful. And I think that's why people like his characters so much, is because they always, he just does a fantastic job of making his characters' strengths their weaknesses at the same time. So yeah, if you like well-written characters, then that's the last point on my list. I think his characters are fantastic. It's really fun to read about them. And he's really good at making you like them by 2 or 3 pages in, which I think is fantastic. So that's the end of my list. That's the 3 reasons why I think you should read The Wisdom of Crowds. I recommend it even though I'm pretty pissed off at Joe Abercrombie in regards to the ending. But what can I say? Still going to read whatever books he brings out in the future, and still going to buy more books that he... Well, my dudes, thank you for watching my first long form video. I am grateful that you're here. If you can explain to me what the hell is making me sneeze in this corner of the room, chuck it in the comments. I'd really like solutions to this issue that I'm having. If you know any authors who are like Joe Abercrombie, and I would like, because I like Joe Abercrombie, let me know that too, because I would love to find someone who writes as well as him, and someone who gives me that same nice feeling when I read them, you know? I just love that. So, thanks for sticking around. I'll see you later. I'm going to be posting a video every week on Friday. This isn't posted on Friday, but who's going to punish me? I will see you later. Peace. Oh! That's good.